Welcome. This is activespirituality.life. It is a weekly forecast program with astrology and a guided meditation activation to help you make the most of your week. It's run by Pamela Cucinell, that's me, the astrologer, and Suzy Meszoly, Master Healer. We invite you to find out more about our individual work. Suzy Meszoly, SuzyMeszoly-healer.com, or insightoasis.com for astrology. You can also find both of us at activespirituality.life, and we look forward to your joining us every week. Please share with your friends. Here we go.
Welcome, everybody, to activespirituality.life with Pamela Cucinell and Suzy Meszoly. And here we are already, week 45 of 2021. Pam's going to tell us all about the week starting the 8th of November. And I'll see you soon.
Oh, I hope so. Okay, so here we are looking at November 8th, 2021. And the moon is in the sign of Capricorn. Now, we had that new moon in Scorpio last week that I talked about being very juicy and fecund, and that we wanted to utilize as best possible because this is the arc that takes us through the end of the year. Next month, I'll talk about eclipses, but right now, we're in this period where we can hone our control, what control we have. The thing about control is it's interesting to keep in mind that, not to sound glib, but we can only control what we can control. And the things that are beyond our control, what we can do is work in concert with the cosmic consciousness to ideally bring the outcomes that are for our highest good and evolution. And that's a big statement, but the moon is in the sign of Capricorn, so we can roll up our sleeves and do the work that is required. Pluto is still in the sign of Capricorn, as it will be until 2024. And we are on the threshold of the United States Pluto return, which we'll be talking about as we get closer to the year's end and do a forecast about 2022. But for each of us individuals, we want to think in terms of what it is we can do to welcome transformation. And when the moon is in the sign of Capricorn, we are being invited, pushed, cajoled, forced. It depends on your personal horoscope. But all these feelings may be up for us, or a couple of the verbs, depending on what's going on with Pluto journey through our personal horoscope. What goes on when the moon is in a particular sign is it colors the kind of universal mood. So the universal mood of our encounters on Monday, the 8th, will be in line with what is the work required to create the transformations that are up for us. And in the morning, especially, this can feel for some of us painful. We can have moments of grief or a wound that is opened or triggered. And yet there's a lot of healing salve energy available. And I think that the important thing to keep in mind is that because the world, basically the planet, is going through this Pluto in Capricorn transformation. And what's important to keep in mind is that when we work and allow the process, we're not fighting the resistance within ourselves or the resistance that comes up with those who are unwilling, unable, or frightened of what's in front of us. When we think in terms of allowing the unfolding, the consciousness of the cosmos to come to its fruition, then we recognize that we are part of this process, and our resistance to it, or our fear, or our grief, or our evaluation of personal limitations or inabilities are human perception that isn't necessarily truth. So today, Monday, can actually be an amazing day in allowing the process to unfold. We're in the waxing moon cycle, coming on the heels of that new moon in Scorpio, the moon in Capricorn working in tandem with the energy that's set forth. What is it that has to be renewed or recycled or composted in order to allow new growth? And so we set up our week. So Monday can be a day where we put things in process, in action, in recognition of where it is we are heading and what it is we want to allow to unfold. So overall, this can be a highly productive day. And Tuesday, the 9th, very highly productive morning. You may feel a real sense of awe during this period of time, a sense of, wow, I can't believe this is happening. But when we allow it to unfold, it can create new realities for us. So the moon goes void, of course, at 12:51 p.m. and doesn't enter the sign of Aquarius until 10:03 p.m. So the afternoon and most of the evening are moon void, of course, in the sign of Capricorn, which really allows best a period of finishing things, working on something already in process, doing what's necessary to set the stage for the next vision. So we're not so much beginning, launching, starting the things that we may have done on Monday or into the early afternoon on Tuesday. But at the time of the void, of course, moon, we're more working on things already in motion, clearing the decks, setting the stage for what we will do next. Once the moon enters Aquarius at 10:03 p.m., this is a very dynamite period, Wednesday the 10th, into up until 2:52 p.m. on Thursday, for courting opportunity. On Wednesday, we may hit a lot of adversity or apparent blocks or resistance or things that seem to be in the way of opportunity or what it is we are trying to make happen. That doesn't mean it's not happening, and sometimes we have to do that. So if you have to have some challenging conversations with someone, an entity, a business, say a partner, a colleague, a client, Wednesday the 10th is a period when you can really be having those conversations. Not easy, but you are pushing through things that need to be revealed, understood, and confronted. On Thursday, the morning into mid-afternoon can feel almost effortless, as though the inspiration, the opportunities, the benefits, the overtures are being offered to you. Take them, take them, take them, and don't resist or deny something that's put in front of you that looks really good, because it most likely is. Don't be influenced by what seemed hard the day before. On Thursday, the 11th, the moon goes void, of course, at 2:52 p.m., and it's void for the rest of the day. So at that point in time, in the sign of Aquarius, oh my gosh, we love to network, we love to make connections, we might troll the internet, inspiration can flash. This is all great, but unless your horoscope is being personally affected by this traveling moon, basically when the moon is void, of course, the conventional wisdom is nothing really is going to stick. So people can get very excited about something, say they're going to follow up, and then they drop the ball. If it's something you're very inspired by and you want to continue the conversation, keep everything open-ended. Agree that you're going to connect again, or look into this at another point, or let's just let this gestate. And then jot down, make a note to yourself, and approach or reconnect and rekindle whatever it was that inspired or intrigued you at another point in time. And you may also find out at that point in time, you're not as interested as you thought you were. But if you are, then initiate on a good day. So the moon enters the sign of Pisces at 2:54 a.m. And I should mention, for those new to this call, that the times I give are Eastern times, so you need to adjust depending on where you are. Once the moon enters the sign of Pisces, we are once again in very strong energy for auspicious outcomes. And depending on our comfort level with higher power energy, or God, or angels, or guides, or connection to the cosmos consciousness, or whatever terminology we might use, these couple of days are absolutely brilliant for tapping in to the kind of energy that gives us the faith, perception, and intrinsic belief that all is possible. And this is very invigorating and stimulating when we hold on to that and know it as truth. It can literally change course of events. And each one of us, I mean, think about it. The more human beings who have this sense of oneness, this connection with universal consciousness, the more people who tap into that, either through meditation or community connection, conscious manifestation and intention, the more unbelievable changes are possible. I've mentioned before, we're in the air cycle of Jupiter Saturn. We're just beginning it, and it will be this way for the next 180, 200 years as we mutate from Earth-centric themes into air-centric themes. And researching about the last time we were in an air cycle, only 5% of the people on Earth were illiterate, could read and write. Wow. I mean, we still have a lot of challenges with getting everyone in the world literate and access to education. But the shift at this point in time allows amazing possibilities, depending on what kind of knowledge and information an individual is tapping into. So with the moon in Pisces, perhaps we just vision that more people have access to the sense of infinite possibilities. Regardless, Thursday and Friday are highly creative days, days when we can really tap in to creative transformation. Fabulous, fabulous days. If, depending on where Pisces energy is in your horoscope, if you feel a bit unformed or at sea, or for some people it could be a sense of it's too hard, or I feel a bit lost, then I can't stress enough, meditate, get yourself in nature, expose yourself to something that's culturally uplifting, music, because you can take yourself out of the space of something unformed and inchoate and get yourself into something that feels more dynamic, as though you're swimming towards source. And that's when Piscean energy can get a bit in lost or at sea, when it feels like everything's too big. But once we are energetically connected, that we are part of the bigness, wow, then we are in this really lovely, lovely space. So the moon goes void, of course, and it can also just be a fabulous weekend for dancing, for enjoying things that give you that zest or sense of life and all its possibilities. Yes, I always emphasize meditation and the connection to the numinous. And on Sunday the 14th, the moon goes void, of course, at 12:40 a.m., so the wee hours, and then it enters the sign of Aries at 10:48 a.m., bringing in very different energy in late morning with that fire cardinal moon. And now we're more, we may feel like we have to do something, make something happen, create some noise, get into something. And that's fine, as long as you're working in ways that feel constructive, feel directed. We can absolutely do this on Sunday, which will really serve us well when we get to the beginning of the work week on Monday, because the Aries moon is dynamic, it's assertive, it wants a fresh start, but it really will work better at this point in time when we are willing to confront whatever it is that we need to bend to in order to allow the process of transformation. Tricky stuff, but overall, a really great week for actualizing and getting into alignment with what it is we can make happen for ourselves, the reverberations that that has to people around us, and ultimately the effect it has in the greater universe. Believe it or not, it's the wings of the butterfly that can create the storms on the other side of the world. And now I turn it over to Suzy.
Oh, I'm thinking about all the storms that I might have been
Indeed.
creating, flapping my wings around here. Okay, so I invite everyone to take 10 minutes and we'll start our meditation. Just close your eyes and feel yourself arriving, present physically, mentally, and emotionally. And spiritually. All the different aspects of ourselves arriving together now. And you could feel this like a pulling in of your energy, that you're bringing everything in towards the center. And in that center, everything is just peacefully, very calmly, very quietly, just establishing presence, just being present. And as we take just a few deeper breaths, allowing ourselves to be in stillness. And in that stillness, there is great peace. There is acceptance. Just allowing everything to be. It is what it is. Sometimes that's a very hard place for us to be in, is just acceptance. Just a place where we don't have to do anything. We don't have to fight against something or change something or try and get someone to change that's around us or change ourselves. We don't have to try and make someone think differently or make ourselves think differently or do something differently. Just for a few minutes, just to be in that state of acceptance. I am here. I am what I am. The situation is what it is. And even if you feel just that tiny little tingle of energy to like change it or do something about it or make it better, just feel yourself relaxing back again into the peace. Just acceptance. It is what it is. And when we're in this state of acceptance, we can really hear the monkey mind trying so hard to get its way, or the ego fighting hard to get its way, or the comfort zone fighting hard to get its way. And as we just back off a little bit, we recognize how much energy is always going into making, changing, altering, transferring, moving, fighting. All of that energy now is just present, and we just accept. Again, I am what I am. And everybody else is what they are. And the world is what the world is. And everything right now in this moment, it is what it is. And for some of us, this is a very, very hard place to be in. So just take this as a practice, as a simple practice that we have to maybe do on a daily basis, maybe every hour, of calming the mind, of calming the spirit, of calming down all of our needs and wants and desires. And just for a few moments, of our extraordinarily busy lives, just for a few moments, allowing ourselves to be in a state of peace and acceptance. And as we're doing this, all of our energy is within us. We're not projecting into the past or into the future. We're not making plans or anything about what's to come next. We're just staying still. And all of our energy tentacles are in our center. Everything is at home. Everything is present. And we feel a completeness, a wholeness. A deep, deep sense of wholeness. And we feel that energy, which is now very substantial, really solidifying in our body, making us grounded and centered, so that when we complete our meditation, we re-enter the world with this state of peace and groundedness and a very deep level of acceptance. And from this deep, grounded, centered place, we can go out into the world and be in movement, be motivated, do things, bring about change, but from a very grounded and soft, peaceful place. Gently, we take a few deeper breaths, and as we're ready, gently open our eyes. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Pam. See you all next week, and love now.